Hey guys, what's up? Back at it out here in the garage. Hey, before I get cranking on today's video, I got an announcement for you. I'll put a link up here in the top right corner. You can click on that and you can go back and watch my 1,000 subscriber giveaway video. Unfortunately, the guy I picked to win some of the Super Clean products lives in Canada, and Super Clean won't ship it to Canada. So you still got a chance. You go to that video, watch it, put a comment on there, make me laugh, tell me something funny or something I should do with the channel, and you got a chance to win some Super Clean products still. The other guys, like my t-shirt winner and some of my sticker winners, have not gotten back to me. I put in the comments to reach out to me, badhombregarage@gmail.com, and I'll figure out how to get stuff shipped to you. For those of you who missed out on it, I did get some stickers in stock, and I also have a merch store now. You can go to my Instagram, you can go to the link down below in the description for this video, and you can go look at my spring merch store where you can get Bad Hombre Garage t-shirts, that kind of stuff. If you want a sticker though, just shoot me an email. Again, badhombregarage@gmail.com. I'm going to sell them for like $4 a piece, and that includes me shipping it to you. So, then we'll see. Even you guys overseas, we'll see what we can do. Reach out to me. Let me know if you want some of that stuff. Otherwise, just enjoy the video. Thanks. All right, today we got to do a little prep on the Nova. I'm getting ready to take this thing on a road trip. Probably just going to be a long one-day trip to go down and see some sights here in Colorado. But I've got a few things that I know I got to get knocked out on the car in order to get it there. So I'm going to do like every good hot rodder should do. I got my cardboard and my magic marker. Yep, it's the back of a waffle box. There's no shortage of waffle boxes around my house. But let's sit down and let's come up with a list of the little tasks that I need to get done on this before we hit the road. Okay, so some of you guys can put down in the comments things you think I'm missing here, but off the top of my head, I know that I need to change oil. I also went ahead and bought some transmission fluid and filter to, we'll do the trans fluid plus filter. I also have, let's see, I need to check brakes, brake fluid, and I need to check rear diff fluid in that. And then also I have some new locks for the car, so I'm going to go ahead and install locks. I need to check lug nuts and air pressure. That also reminds me that I don't have a spare tire for the car, and I know the odds aren't that high of me getting a flat, but I just can't stand to drive this thing, especially I'm going to be kind of out in a desolate area without a spare, so I need to procure a spare tire. I think I have an idea for that. Okay, well that's it. This is a pretty good list of stuff to go ahead and run through and get this thing checked out and ready to go for our trip. So let's get started. Alright, I got the car jacked up, sitting on 4 jack stands, ready to crawl underneath and get down there and change all the fluids. I planned ahead on this. I've got 6 quarts of the, this is what I use in this thing, the VR1. High zinc. It's good for these old motors, as we all know, even though that one has a roller camshaft in it. It's a hydraulic roller, but it's still good for everything else in there. So I run the high zinc, 3 gallons of transmission fluid, because I plan on dropping the pan, and swapping the fluid and the filter out, because I can't remember exactly when I changed that last. And I don't mean like if it was like last year or the year before, like I can't remember ever changing that transmission oil fluid or the filter in it, so that's probably well overdue. Yeah, first things first though, this car had I never had keys for the car. Okay, so there's a secret about the car, right? I don't have keys that fit the ignition. It's got another switch in it. When I got the car, it was just a shell of a race car, and it literally had a toggle switch and a push button. Toggle switch, turn it on, push button to crank. So I put an ignition switch back when I was in high school, and the car it came with a old GM ignition key, but that doesn't fit in there. It doesn't turn that on. And in fact, it gets stuck in there. There we go. In fact, this key used to work in the door locks, and in particular in the trunk lock. Is one of those where I had to just put the key in and get it set just right and jiggle just right before it would pop open. Well, what ended up happening is after I got it out of storage this time, I stood out in the driveway for an hour, jiggling, and finally got a 3/8 drill bit and decided to jiggle with that a little bit and just drilled it out. I got tired of it. Drilled that sucker out, pulled the lock out, went on Speedway, and for $32.99 I got a set of locks for the car. Something I should have done 25 years ago, but that's got to happen. I'm going to drop some locks in the door and in the trunk, and then we'll move on to doing the dirty work, changing fluids. Okay, this is the new lock mechanism for the trunk area for the hatchback of the car. You can see it looks just like our old one, and the old one has this little piece that rides in like that. So imagine what this guy's going to look like is, let's figure out which way is up on it, like this, and then I believe this guy goes in like that, and it's just going to shove in like this straight into there where this feeds through a little lock that does the trunk popping. This is our locking mechanism that keeps this in the car, so we'll reuse the original one rather than the aftermarket one like this. So should be pretty easy. Let's go jam it in the car. Okay, this is my current key to get in, but if you look way back in there, there's just basically a keyhole, and that's what turns and pops this guy open. So perfect. So we'll pop this guy up, put my custom hood prop in, and now we can access this thing from the bottom. Should be as easy as sliding my the little latch piece into here, shoving the lock in the outside, making sure it engages through the hole there, and then popping it in. Well, that's the first time I've opened that thing with a proper key easily in the 20-something years I've owned this car. Yeah, well, it doesn't look the prettiest, but it's in there, it functions, it works. Time to move on to the doors. Okay, obviously this car has had a lot of modifications over the years. One of which I think is somebody got tired of the little clips and there was just a screw in the front corner of each part of the door panel. And then of course I come in here and unscrew my door lock. I'll unscrew these for the handle, and then I just got to reach down in here. Hopefully I can get these needle nose or this little hook, pop the clip out and remove my door crank. Then this door panel should come off and we should be able to get right in there and access the door lock. Okay, I've got the door stripped down. That was pretty easy. Pulled all the little goodies that were stuck down in the bottom of the door out, or most of them anyway. You can see the original color of this car. It used to be that gold, which I'm glad we painted it. It was a pearl white when I got it, and then we painted it orange in my driveway in about 1998 or so. So that's why it looks as hammered as it does. Okay, here's my old lock, and all I did was went in and reached in and pried this piece off, and then I get this little important piece right here. And what I'm going to do, let's see, this goes in the door like this, and I want this to point backwards like that. That makes sense. So it's going like that, and then this thing even came with a new little piece like that. So that's going to go on there, and then I'm going to have to kind of pry that down into place. But I'll do that real quick here. There we go. I'll pop this guy down into place, and then this lock will be ready to go back in the door. Okay, right, so this little guy slides right into the lever that operates the mechanism to keep the door locked or not, and all it does is to lock it, it moves it down, to unlock it, it moves it up. That's how the door gets locked and unlocked. All I got to do now is feed this guy back into the car, put that clip in just like this behind it, and make sure this rides over that lever that operates the internal lock mechanism. And boom, door lock will be done. Okay, that's that easy. Slipped it in, put the clip in behind it, door's closed. In theory I should be able to Lock it. There you go. Huh? Door's locked. Unlocked. Boom. Hey, that's the first time that's worked for me, ever. I'll throw my door panel back on. Then I'll go around to the other side and repeat the procedure on the other side. Now I'm going to move on to the next thing I need to do, which is change the oil. So I got my adjustable hammer, my oil filter wrench. I'll crawl under there and we'll do the engine oil first. While I'm looking at it, I notice here's where I've got one problem. That gasket underneath my distributor leaks, and it's causing me an oil leak. And I don't really want to change it because I got to pull my distributor out to do it, obviously. But I think I'm going to, just because it's the right thing to do. So we'll add that onto the list. Might as well bite the bullet, crawl into the car. Let's get dirty. Alright, I don't think we've actually crawled underneath this car, at least in a long time. It's a 454 big block Chevy, turbo 350 transmission. You can see it's got a pretty small converter. It's like a 3400 stall converter. Not so great for cruising the street, but right in the right range for this big block when I race it. These headers, great big headers. I think they're 2-inch primaries. They come down to a 3.5-inch collector. And then 3-inch exhaust all the way out the back of the car, which is pretty sweet. That was one of the things I spent my first paycheck on out of college, was getting exhaust on this car. Pretty cool. But man, it creates a lot of heat. That's why I have these headers wrapped, and honestly why I have so much insulation laying in the floor underneath the driver's feet and stuff, because it gets so stinking hot. So anyway, one of the bonuses I forgot about on this car, right here, well, look at that, it's oily, but a drain plug on the transmission. That's going to make our lives a little bit easier here in a few minutes. So I'll start with the engine oil though. I'll go ahead and rip that out, drop that down, get my new filter prepped, and yeah, let's get going on this thing. So this is what we're after, the transmission filter. I just need to get my big screwdriver. I'll pop that off. We'll go over to the workbench and we'll check all this stuff out. Look at this filter. How much junk is hung up on here. We've got some silicone, gasket material, little metal, all kinds of junk in there. But I'm going to pull it out, make sure it's the same. If it is, I'm going to go down there, reverse the process, slam it all together. Clean up my pan. Oh yeah, I'm going to show you this. The pan's not too bad. The transmissions, you know, a lot of times these are just full of clutch material. And this one isn't too bad. But I'll take the time and I'll brake clean that all out and make it look real good. I'll clean this gasket off. I think I'm just going to use the same gasket because it is it glued on there pretty good. And then we'll zip it all back together. Alrighty. Climbed into the back. Checked the rear diff, took a little bit of oil, added a little bit of oil to that. I got the transmission pan all buttoned up. As you can tell by the oil spots underneath, everywhere I've worked under the car. And on my list, this is where I was trying to fill up my oil filter and dumped it. But we can check things off, change the oil, trans fluid and filter, check the rear diff, installed my locks, fixed my gas pedal. I added on here, I want to make sure my phone charger works in there, and then that silly distributor gasket. Let's do that distributor gasket. This should be pretty easy. It's going to be kind of a pain, but I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to mark exactly where the distributor is, pull the cap off, mark where the rotor is, and then pop it out. That'll give you a chance to check the drive gear on it and everything, make sure it is wearing good. And I'll put the new gasket on. But first I got to dig through my pile of gaskets and make sure I have one. If I don't, I'm not going to do it. If I do, I'll run through that project real quick. And then it's a matter of tying up some other stuff. Oh, I dumped a gallon of oil back into the transmission. We'll fire it up and run it, and we'll check that once we're done with everything. Okay, I dug through my gasket box. I found one gasket that hadn't been used, 3 that had been used. That one's brand new. So I'm going to come in right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this. Okay, mark it there, and then we'll mark it right there. Okay, and then I'm going to come around here to the rotor, and I'm basically going to do the same thing, make sure my rotor's in the same spot. So looking straight down on it, we're going to go right there. Okay, now I just got to get my special distributor wrench. This guy's custom, if you can't tell. We'll pop this guy loose, slide that distributor out of there. Okay, got it out. Somewhat restricted on how far I can move it because of that stupid wire. But if you look right in here, you can see my gears are wearing pretty good. Right in the middle. Wearing about 3/4 of the way down into the groove. So that's good. I'm happy with how that wear is working. Alright, not bad. I'm going to clean this guy up a little bit. We'll swap out this troubled gasket, clean it up, drop it back in, line it up with the marks, and we should be off. Alright, well that was easy. I got it back in there. I got my marks lined back up. It's buttoned up. Ooh, I need to connect my distributor wire. I'll do that, and then let's see here. I checked my brake fluid, it was good. All this stuff, lugs, air pressure, spare tire, I can get. I need to do a phone charger. So I'm going to get my keys, turn the battery on, see if my phone charger works in the car, plug my distributor in, then we're ready to fire it up, do the transmission fluid, set the timing, and then we're ready to rock and roll. Alright, man, this thing's looking like it's in pretty good shape. I checked my phone charger, just plugged it in, it works. Yep, phone charger. For those old enough, remember that it's actually a cigarette lighter. That's now phone charger. But yeah, it works. So that's in, that's good. What else can I do here? I think I'm ready to fire this guy up, let it warm up a little bit, fill up my transmission fluid, and dial in my timing, make sure it's good to go. Yeah, and then we'll be ready to let this thing down off the jacks, check the lugs, run the air pressure, and I got to come up with my spare tire still. Not too bad though. Let's fire this thing up and get it going. Okay, so 35 degrees of total timing. I'm going to go ahead and dial in a little bit more just because I know this can take it. It's good, and because I'm at a higher altitude. Rotating this way, I want to turn this way to advance. I'm going to have to loosen it up. I'm going to advance it a touch, and then we'll go from there. So in summary, initial timing on this thing is set at 18 degrees, and that's 0 on this thing and 18 degrees on the wheel, or 0'd out there and this thing reads 18 degrees on my adjustable timing light. And then the mechanical advance on this MS3 distributor gives me 20 degrees of mechanical advance. So 18, 20, 38, it checks on my adjustable timing light. So there we are. We got this thing set at 18 initial, 38 total. I think that's pretty good. Alright guys, this thing's ready to go on a road trip, man. Runs great, sounds good, fluids are good. Man, it's in good shape. Plus, I did that silly lock fix, which I should have done 25 years ago. Man, this is ready. I've got to go in here now. I'm going to figure out to do something to do with for spare tire and whatnot. But man, we did pretty good. Got the list mostly knocked out. Man, I'm pumped. Alright, hey, if you guys want to see how this road trip goes, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you guys follow along, comment, like, share with somebody else, and you're going to want to see this. This trip's going to be good. Coming up on episode 100 about Hombre Garage. Alright guys, thanks for following along.